G'day, I'm Andy from Single Malt.
And I'm Brad, and welcome back. We trust you enjoyed last month's Tomatin from the Highlands, and we'll now continue our journey around Scotland to a wee island off the west coast, imaginatively named Islay. Many folk say, pronounce it Islay if they don't know better, but the Scots pronounce it Islay.
Well, Gaelic might be a beautiful language and many other things, but it's certainly not phonetic, is it?
No, it's not very phonetic. There are 8 distilleries in Islay, and they're all renowned as big whiskies. They're full-bodied and distinctively peaty and salty, which is the Islay character.
Salty?
Yep. Distilleries are all built right on the seashore, so those big Atlantic sea winds finds its way into the barrels. The island is also surrounded by big kelp beds, which are very rich in iodine. So the salt has this iodine character to it as well.
Right, but why don't they just fill the barrels up so the air doesn't get in?
Well, they do at the start, but over time, a little bit of the whiskey evaporates through the casks as it's aging, leaving what they call an ullage of air in the top of the casks. Before science worked out what was happening, they used to say the angels would have a little nip while they were watching over the cellar hands, and that was the angel share.
Oh, right. You sure it wasn't just the cellar hands share?
Well, speaking to a few distillery managers, it's pretty apparent now that the amount of angel share is fairly proportional to how accessible the barrel is to the cellar hands while it's in the bondage shed.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. This guy, his name's Pete.
No, it's not a guy called Pete. Peat is the fuel that they use traditionally for drying out the barley in Islay. It's basically a rotting vegetation that, if left alone for millions of years, would finally turn into coal or oil. It's used as a heating or cooking fuel in many European countries. It's burnt in order to provide heat for drying the malted barley prior to milling it. As is coal, and in more modern times, gas fires. The island of Islay is composed mainly of peat, and so traditionally most of their drying has been done with peat only, producing a very heavily peated taste to the barley and consequently the whiskey.
Oh, right.
Other distilleries use, as I said, a combination of peat and coal or gas to dry the barley, if they're malting their own barley, and as the ratio of peat to coal or gas changes, so does the amount of peat influence in the whiskey produced from that barley.
But doesn't some of the peat flavour come from the water that they use in making the whiskey?
Look, it's a pretty largely held belief, and it's a great story, but really many of the distilleries are now using filtered water anyway, rather than water straight out of the rivers that traditionally supplied the distillery. What do you say we have one?
Well, that's a great idea. Bowmore Distillery, it's established in 1779, and it's one of Scotland's oldest distilleries. It was established before the Excise Act of 1823, so it was the oldest legal distillery, operated for a few years illegally, and it's one of the few distilleries that actually produces its own barley, malts its own barley, and they do the malting on the floors, which makes it very unique, in fact.
Oh, right, there you go. Well, there's that very amber browny colour, which is giving an indication it's been aged in a European oak.
Yeah, you can really smell that peat come straight off. You don't even need to put your nose in.
No, it's strong.
Yeah.
Hints of chocolate. There's chocolate there. And
pear. Plenty of that smoky
that's
peaty.
that smoke, the peaty smoke that is the big... the big
honey coming through.
There is a bit, yeah, in the finish, and that finish is it's very long, isn't it? I'm still sort of chewing on it now. No pepper or anything, but just a very nice peaty sort of finish, isn't it?
Yeah, I love the peaty whiskies, particularly in the cooler months. But I think they're terrible if you add ice to them. They taste awful. But really nice if you drink them cool. So just chilling the bottle down to about 15 degrees is really great.
Well, it's no secret that I'm a bit of an Islay fan. I reckon rain, hail or shine, they're always pretty good.
Well, this one certainly is, yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed as much as we are. Until next month.
Slanjava.
Slanjava.
Oh, it's delightful.
Yum.